Burkina Faso is a landlocked country located in West Africa. It is bordered by 6 other countries: Mali to the north, Niger to the east, Benin to the southeast, Togo and Ghana to the south, and Ivory Coast to the southwest. The country has an area of approximately 274,200 square kilometers, 105,900 square miles. According to the World Bank, Burkina Faso had an estimated population of about 21.5 million people in 2021. The capital and largest city is Ouagadougou, which is home to around 2.8 million people. Other major cities in Burkina Faso include Bobo Dioulasso, Kudugo, and Banfora. The population of Burkina Faso is predominantly rural, with over 70% of the population living in rural areas. The official language is French, but there are over 60 ethnic languages spoken in the country, with more being the most widely spoken. Burkina Faso, formerly known as Upper Volta, has a rich and complex history. Here is a brief overview of the major historical events and periods. Pre-colonial era, before 1896, the area now known as Burkina Faso was home to a number of different kingdoms and empires, including the Masi, Germa, and Mande kingdoms. These kingdoms were known for their strong military and trade networks, as well as their vibrant artistic and cultural traditions. French colonial era, 1896 to 1960. In 1896, the French established a protectorate over the region, which they named Upper Volta. The French established a colonial administration and imposed their language, culture, and political systems on the local population. Upper Volta became a French colony in 1919, and it remained so until it gained independence in 1960. Independence era, 1960 to 1987. Upper Volta gained independence from France on August 5, 1960, with Maurice Yamogo becoming the first president. The country struggled with political instability and economic challenges in the following years. In 1966, a military coup led by Sengole Lamazana removed Yamogo from power and established a military dictatorship. Military rule, 1966 to 1987. Lamazana's regime lasted until 1980, when he was overthrown by Colonel Say Zerbo. Zerbo was later removed from power by another military coup led by Major Dr. Jean-Baptiste Ouedraogo. Ouedraogo's regime lasted until 1987, when he was overthrown by Captain Thomas Sankara in a bloodless coup. Thomas Sankara era, 1983 to 1987, Sankara led a socialist revolutionary government that sought to transform Burkina Faso into a self-sufficient, egalitarian society. He initiated a number of ambitious development programs, including agricultural and education reforms, and he encouraged women's rights and environmental conservation. Sankara's government was also known for its human rights abuses and suppression of political opposition. Assassination of Thomas Sankara, 1987. In October 1987, Sankara was assassinated in a coup led by his former ally Blaise Compaoré. Compaoré became the new president and established a military dictatorship that lasted until 1991. Democratic era, 1991 present. In 1991, a popular uprising led to the end of Compaoré's dictatorship and the establishment of a multi-party democracy. Since then, Burkina Faso has held regular elections and experienced both political stability and instability. The country has faced a number of challenges, including poverty, terrorism, and conflict in the Sahel region. In November 2014, Compaoré was ousted from power after attempting to change the constitution to extend his rule. Rochmark Christian Kabore was elected as president in 2015, and he was re-elected in 2020. Burkina Faso has a rich and diverse culture that reflects the country's history, traditions, and ethnic diversity. Here are some aspects of the culture and civilization of Burkina Faso. Arts and crafts. Burkina Faso is known for its vibrant artistic and cultural traditions, including its music, dance, and visual arts. The country is particularly renowned for its wood carvings, pottery, and textiles, which are often made using traditional techniques and materials. Language and literature. Burkina Faso has over 60 different ethnic languages, with more being the most widely spoken. The country also has a rich oral tradition, with stories and folklore passed down through generations. In recent years, Burkina Faso has also produced a number of notable writers and poets, such as Monique Ilbudo and Norbert Zongo. Religion. The majority of the population in Burkina Faso practices Islam, with Christianity and traditional African religions also represented. Islam was introduced to the region by Arab traders and scholars in the 11th century, and it has since become a major influence on the country's culture and society. Cuisine. Burkina Faso's cuisine is diverse and often reflects the country's agricultural heritage. Millet and sorghum are staple crops and are used to make porridges, stews, and breads. Other common ingredients include rice, yams, peanuts, and vegetables. Some popular dishes include toué, a millet or sorghum-based porridge, riz gras, a rice and meat stew, and poulet bicyclette, a grilled chicken dish. Festivals and celebrations. Burkina Faso is known for its lively and colorful festivals, which often feature music, dance, and traditional dress. One of the most well-known festivals is the biennial FESPACO Film Festival, which is held in Ouagadougou and showcases the best of African cinema. Other notable festivals include the Naba Koum Festival, which celebrates the Masi Kingdom, and the Ouaga Hip Hop Festival, which highlights the country's hip-hop and urban culture. Sports. Football, soccer, is the most popular sport in Burkina Faso, and the national team has achieved some notable successes on the international stage. Other popular sports include basketball, cycling, and traditional wrestling. Economy and development. Burkina Faso is a landlocked country in West Africa with a primarily agrarian economy. The country has faced a number of economic and development challenges, including poverty, low levels of education and healthcare, and limited infrastructure. Here is some more information on the economy and development of Burkina Faso. Agriculture. Agriculture is the largest sector of the economy, accounting for around 35% of GDP and employing the majority of the population. The main crops grown in Burkina Faso include cotton, sorghum, millet, and maize, as well as livestock and fish. However, the sector is vulnerable to weather fluctuations and other external factors, such as global market prices. Mining. Burkina Faso has significant mineral resources, including gold, manganese, and zinc. Gold is the country's main export, and mining accounts for a growing share of GDP. However, the mining sector has faced challenges such as weak regulation, environmental degradation, and security risks in recent years. Infrastructure. Burkina Faso has limited infrastructure, with a low level of access to electricity, roads, and other basic services. The government has launched a number of infrastructure projects in recent years, such as road and railway construction, but progress has been slow and uneven. Poverty and inequality. Burkina Faso is one of the poorest countries in the world, with around 40% of the population living below the poverty line. The country also has high levels of inequality, with disparities between urban and rural areas, different regions, and different ethnic groups. Development programs. The government of Burkina Faso has launched a number of development programs aimed at addressing these challenges and promoting sustainable growth. These programs include initiatives to improve education and healthcare, strengthen governance and institutions, and promote economic diversification and private sector growth. The government has also sought to increase regional and international cooperation, including through the African Union and the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. Despite these efforts, Burkina Faso continues to face significant challenges to its development and economic growth, including ongoing security threats from terrorism and violent extremism in the region. If you are planning a trip to Burkina Faso, here are some travel tips and guide to help you make the most of your visit. Requirements. Visitors to Burkina Faso are required to have a visa, which can be obtained at Burkina Faso embassies or consulates in their home country. Best time to visit Burkina Faso is during the dry season, which runs from November to February. The rainy season, which runs from June to September, can make travel difficult, and some roads may become impassable. Health and safety. Visitors to Burkina Faso should take appropriate health and safety precautions, including getting vaccinated against common diseases, such as yellow fever and hepatitis A. and taking precautions to avoid malaria. Visitors should also exercise caution in public places, especially in large cities and near the borders, as there is a risk of terrorism and violent crime. Transportation. The main mode of transportation in Burkina Faso is by road, with buses and taxis being the most common options for visitors. However, roads can be poorly maintained and driving can be hazardous, so it is important to exercise caution. Visitors can also travel by train, with regular services running between Ouagadougou and Bobo Dioulasso. Currency. The official currency of Burkina Faso is the West African CFA franc. It is recommended to exchange currency at official exchange bureaus or banks, as unofficial exchange can be risky and result in counterfeit currency. Language. French is the official language of Burkina Faso, but many people also speak local languages such as Moor, Jula, and Fulfold. English is not widely spoken. Culture and etiquette. Burkina Faso has a rich cultural heritage with many traditional festivals and customs. Visitors should be respectful of local customs and dress modestly, particularly when visiting mosques or other religious sites. It is also customary to greet people with a handshake and to use formal titles when addressing others. Places to visit. Burkina Faso has several attractions for visitors, including the Nzinga Game Ranch, the Banfora Cascades, and the Old Town of Lorapeni, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Ouagadougou, the capital city, also has several museums and cultural centers worth visiting. By following these travel tips and guide, visitors can have a safe and enjoyable experience in Burkina Faso.